"Are you Jane?" Detective Marchand asked after entering the interrogation room and shutting the door behind her. The hunched-over girl looked up, nodded. She had dark hair that hid her face, and she was practically being swallowed up by a baggy sweatshirt. "Hi, Jane. I'm Detective Marchand. I was wondering if I could ask you some questions." Jane straightened her back a little and looked at the detective. "Sure, why not? Everyone else is." "You've been interrogated a few times, I'm guessing." Jane held up a fist and unfurled a finger for each person she described. Detective with a huge forehead, detective with the red mustache, lawyer who wore the same perfume my mom wears, then lawyer who looked like a teenage boy, and now you. Now me. Detective with the fancy nails. Rosalie Marchand looked down at her nails. It was true that she'd been to the manicurist just 2 days earlier. "That's how you'll remember me?" Jane shrugged. Detective Marchand had come over from the neighboring town of Saltwick in order to interrogate Jane Weir. New Essex had only one female detective, and she was currently on her honeymoon in Turks and Caicos, and Lieutenant Mark Acosta, chief of detectives for New Essex, and yes, he did have a particularly large forehead, had thought that a female detective might have a better chance of getting the truth out of this girl. "Jane, do you think you could talk a little more to me about Lisa—" Detective Marchand hesitated, intentionally blanking on the surname. "Lisa Kelly," Jane said. "Right, Lisa Kelly. She's a senior, like you, isn't she?" "Yes, but she's new to our school. I didn't really know her before, you know." "Before you had a conversation on the school bus." "Right," Jane said, pushing back a hank of her long, limp hair, and Marchand, who always noticed people's skin, saw that Jane was in the middle of a pretty virulent breakout. "That was the first time you'd seen her?" "I'd seen her around, but the bus was the first time that we'd talked." "Jane, do you think you can tell me a little bit about what you talked about that day?" The teenager took a breath that seemed to shift her whole body. I know. Just humor me. I'd like to hear it directly from you." "Okay. We talked about Macy, obviously. I mean, that's why I'm here, right?" "What did she say about Macy?" "You mean, besides that she'd kill her for me?" "Yes, besides that. Tell me everything you talked about." Jane had almost skipped out on the Saturday school trip to Boston to visit the Museum of Fine Arts, but her mom had told her that if she didn't go, then she would have to attend her little brother's ice hockey game, so it was a no-brainer. Jane called her dad, knowing he'd be happy to come over and pick her up, drive her to the high school. He dropped her off in the east parking lot, where the yellow school bus was waiting under a dark, swollen sky.